I do want to get into TikTok. They put out yesterday a big statement that before the testimony that we're not going to allow anybody in.
Big is so for people that don't know,
it's the number one tech company in the world.
And it's video sharing. That's all it does, right?
Yes, and most of their users would be kids.
How old?
Under 18.
Okay. So their market's under 18.
Almost everywhere, even in China, where it's a very different version that you would get. It's more educational, more pro-party.
Yeah.
It's not much about, it's not an entertainment. And there, they have limits on how long kids can be on it. Because, when you're on a phone, your phone sees you. So the phone can know you're a kid. Either you shouldn't be seeing something, or, hey, you've been on long enough.
Yep.
And maybe, I think, parents may be able to override it with a code or something like that. But the big issue is TikTok has already been taken off a lot of government servers in many states across the country because of the national security concerns that China is stealing all of your information because it saves all of your keystrokes, not when you're on TikTok, when you're using your phone. It accesses your camera. It accesses the sound. And the CCP, if you operate in China, and see, this is where TikTok, they try to dance around it. We'll play it. But if you operate a business like this in China, you must give them access. So you can't, even if you're based somewhere else, if you're going to play in China, they've got to have certain access. It's why there are companies like Facebook they don't play in China. You know what I mean, Dad? Remember we went there. You could use a VPN at the time to maybe access your Twitter or Facebook.
But that was it. Right. So the problem, let me give you a for real situation. They're also a news source because these videos are short form news, right? I mean, they can get information out. China invades Taiwan. They invade Taiwan. What happens? They say, do you know what China's going to say? The Chinese Communist Party? Taiwan instigated an attack. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to get to all of your phones and all of your data and flood the end zone, so to speak. That is the concern with something like this. We should listen to what he says.
So here's Xu Chu. He's the head of the U.S. subsidiary, which is TikTok, owned by what's called ByteDance.
Let me start by addressing a few misconceptions about ByteDance, of which we are a subsidiary. ByteDance is not owned or controlled by the Chinese government. It's a private company. 60% of the company is owned by global institutional investors. 20% is owned by the founder, and 20% owned by employees around the world. ByteDance has 5 board members. 3 of them are American. Now, TikTok itself is not available in mainland China. We're headquartered in Los Angeles and in Singapore, and we have 7,000 employees in the U.S. today.
Okay, here's a few misconceptions that we need to get through. ByteDance is headquartered in Beijing, the parent company.
Right.
When he says TikTok is not available in China, it's because they speak Chinese. Right. So the word is not TikTok. It's a country with over 1 billion people, so it's going to be a name that makes sense for them.
Right.
But it's the same system. Okay, so all this dancing around.
And every company out of China is owned by the Communist Chinese Party. You
cannot start their version of a private company without getting a green light from the CCP and usually owned by it. So the owner is usually, first of all, you're not the type of person in China who can even start a business like this unless you're part of the party.
Right, 100%.
And so the way tech works, he's trying to, again, get around how tech works. They all go through the same servers from these companies. China gets the backdoor access. This is Anna Eshu from California. Certainly not a conservative by any means, but an American. Take a listen.
Why would the Chinese government sidestep their national law, including Article 7, Article 10, in terms of user data?
Congressman, thank you for the question. I'm glad you asked this. As I said in the opening statement, our plan is to move American data to be stored on American soil by the American company.
I understand that, but you're sidestepping, or I haven't read anything in terms of TikTok, how you can actually say, and you spoke in your opening statement about a firewall relative to the data, but the Chinese government has that data. How can you promise that will move into the United States of America and be protected here?
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
Well, you know what?
I
find that actually preposterous.
It is
Preposterous is right.
because
That's the right word. Preposterous
he's
is the right
being very
word.
legally correct in the sense that they've never asked us because they don't have to ask or provide it. Chinese have an automatic in. So TikTok or ByteDance never has to provide it.
Right.
And never has to be asked because he wouldn't have made the first statement if the second statement were accurate. The first statement is, we plan to move all of your data here. But like, as Anna Eshoo pointed out, they already have all of our data. So you're talking about future data. And by the way, you say plan, you're just trying to get through a congressional hearing. That ain't ever happening.
All right. So Chairwoman Rogers asked this series of questions.
Just this morning, the Wall Street Journal reported that the CCP is opposed to a forced sale of TikTok by ByteDance, quoting a CCP spokesman as saying the Chinese government would make a decision regarding any sale of TikTok. So the CCP believes they have the final say over your company. I have zero confidence in your assertion that ByteDance and TikTok are not beholden to the CCP.
Of course they're beholden. She's exactly correct. Of course, and this should not be a partisan issue, by the way. Of course they're beholden to the CCP. Now let me play you the follow-up questions that were asked by Chairwoman Rogers.
Can you say with 100% certainty that ByteDance or the CCP cannot use your company or its divisions to heed content to promote pro-CCP messages for an act of aggression against Taiwan?
We do not promote or remove content at the request of the Chinese government.
The question is,
we will replace.
The question is, are you 100% certain that they cannot use your company to promote such messages?
It is our commitment to this committee and all our users that we will keep this free from any manipulation by any government.
If you can't say 100% certain, I take that as a no.
And the answer, of course, is no, because it's controlled and operated by the CCP.